this is your misconception. You assume that I disrespected Patrick Ewing because I chose Clyde Frazier for having 2 championships, which he has 1970, 1973. Patrick Ewing has how many? But you know what? I take that back and I said I would apologize on air on this recording. Patrick Ewing is my favorite Knick. He probably is the best Knick ever. But it's unfortunate. There's a guy named Michael Jordan, and there was another guy named Hakeem Olajuwon that just messed Patrick Ewing's timing way the fuck up. And I still think the Knicks could have won that run in '94. John Starks happened in Game 7. John Starks shot the Knicks out of a championship. Patrick Ewing would have been immortalized more so than Clyde Frazier or Willis Reed or any Knicks player prior. You know what I'm saying? There would have been it would have been a statue outside the Garden had the Knicks won that championship, especially after the Rangers won. Everyone was like, "Oh, the Stanley is at the Garden. The Knicks better win this shit." And that was the talk of the town. It was supposed to be Title Town, but John Starks. I don't know what. Hey, y'all, listen. That was the only Knicks player's jersey I've had. I've had a John Starks jersey, but man, to Patrick Ewing, I love Pat. Love him. I met him. He was a dick, but I love him as a player. I love him, man. Absolutely, he's the most beloved Knicks you could probably, especially for our generation, just growing up. You know, coming from Georgetown and just, coming right after, I think Pat was the man. Those 90s, we spoke about those 90s Knicks teams with Pat Riley. Pat was the anchor. He was the lead guy. That was his team. Respectfully so. But like a lot of players in this league, a lot of Hall of Famers in the 90s, Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls, weren't letting no one eat. The only way you was eating in the 90s is if Jordan retired. So, but respect to Patrick Ewing. And you need to take that bullshit Porzingis jersey off your wall and put a Patrick Ewing one up. That's disrespect. Respectfully.
Don't even try it. I've suffered. I even tried to explain to the young bull himself, Z-Mac. He tried to bring up the silly notion that became popular more. The Zane at The Zane on Twitter. This is why I hate the ring argument. This is part of the reason why I hate the ring argument, because it diminishes the legends like Charles Barkley. I don't even like Karl Malone. I don't like Karl Malone, and I don't even think he's in my top 5 power forwards. I might pick 5 different power forwards before Karl Malone, but he's still a great player. It's not the reason why they didn't lose because of him. I don't think he had a chance against the Bulls either. But Patrick Ewing, they keep bringing up the rings. Like, what else did you want Patrick Ewing to do? Even if he hit the finger roll, he set a record of blocks in a series against Olajuwon and those Rockets. John Starks went John Starks. That's the problem. They needed to have more players, more 3-point shooters around Patrick Ewing, the way the Rockets, who played like a similar style that they do now. There's a lot that went on. Like, now my whole point was, if Clyde Frazier wants to come on TV and be dead serious about because you have 2 rings, you mean more to the Knicks? No, you just don't. You didn't rock the 80s and 90s and get booed like that and have to suffer through all those teams. It's just, and it wasn't even that. I forgot to even mention when I was going on a rant. It is the slander of Patrick Ewing that got him to the point where he can walk through Madison Square Garden and somebody not know who he is. What the hell is James Dolan thinking? There should be a statue of Patrick Ewing so that everybody would know exactly who Patrick Ewing is. If they do have one, I don't even know if they have one, but I don't see it. He should have a statue in Madison Square Garden, bro. I don't understand that. In all seriousness, Like, who else deserves a statue in that in MSG? Nobody. Nobody. Who the hell was the biggest star for decades in MSG? I think that's part of the
All right, so
problem. The Yankees.
what's the criteria? All right, are the Yankees giving you a Monument Park if you didn't contribute a World Series there? There's not too many players in Monument Park. Oh,
you're not serious,
man. Yeah, I am serious.
You can't be serious
about what?
The first baseman who played. The first baseman who played the same amount of time and during the same exact time period that Patrick Ewing played in at the Garden. Don Mattingly does not have
the exception.
That's not
he was an MVP.
Okay, but he was great. He held the Yankees down for 2 decades. Period. And the year that he left was the year that they won, right? This is what I'm saying.
No, he retired.
Retired. He retired. But my point is that the Yankees celebrate that dude. I'm not saying that a security guard is not going to stop Don Mattingly. A security guard might stop Don Mattingly.
Listen, but all right, yeah, because listen, baseball players just not recognizable like that. Don Mattingly walks down the street right now, and he walks around the Garden. It might be a few people like, yeah, that's Don Mattingly, but these kids in this generation are not knowing who the fuck Don Mattingly is. I bet you they know who Derek Jeter is.
Yes, but my point is still this. I think that George Steinbrenner or that family, they understand the brand. The Yankees are the #1 franchise. They always teeter with being the #1 franchise in sports. The Cowboys, the Knicks, people they forget this. The Knicks teeter with being the #1 value franchise in sports. They're up there, top 5, top 10. You should act like it.
Top 5.
Act like it. The Mets have a statue of damn, what's my man's name? The center fielder that played for the Giants. Willie Mays. No, not Willie Mays. The guy on the Dodgers.
Jackie Robinson.
Yes, I bet. Jackie Robinson.
the guy that played.
The black guy that broke the the first black guy. The Mets have they're celebrating them though, bro, because they understand legacy. They understand that. I don't know if Jackie Robinson, he must have won the title because the Dodgers were good back then. But I don't know, and I don't care. It doesn't matter. He was great. And obviously
matter to you. But yeah, go ahead.
If he won a ring, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he won a ring.
He won.
It doesn't matter. So again, that's my point. Well, he blood, sweat.
That's different. That dude broke the color barrier. Even if Jackie Robinson didn't win, he broke the color barrier in baseball. He stole home. Like he played in the Negro Leagues. That's a different conversation. Patrick Ewing, do I think he should get a plaque or a statue in front of Madison Square Garden? Maybe. But I'm like, if he doesn't, I'm like, all right. But Pat, come on, bro. I mean,
bro. Madison Square.
All right, what's your criteria? What is your criteria for him having a statue? Why do you think he should have a statue?
The fucking criteria is 2 decades of pillows on your knees as knee pads, leaving it all on the floor for 2 decades. They didn't do what they were supposed to do with him there. Who else are you gonna have a statue of in Madison Square Garden? What are you gonna do? Put a statue of Michael Jordan? Like a bunch of herbs, like a bunch of pricks?
Because he owns the Garden. Nah, man, I don't know, man. I mean, if anybody would get it, probably Patrick Ewing.
That's my point. So that's what I'm saying is that's part of the problem. That we started the slander and New Yorkers got out of hand. Philly, Boston, this whole East Coast thing. Like, there's no way Philadelphia doesn't have a statue of Allen Iverson. There's no way. You can't tell me that Philly doesn't have a statue. You'd be mad. You'd have made a statue of AI. Oh, that's ill. Yeah, he deserves that. Oh, he didn't win though. that guy's getting booed out of whatever bar if he brings up the fact that Iverson doesn't have a ring with the Sixers. Let's be real.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
good
Like
point.
at this point, Westbrook.
But all right, Westbrook. Westbrook what? Westbrook what?
No,
He needs a
I can
statue
see
in OKC?
No, I can see why Westbrook and Kevin Durant don't have a statue in OKC. I can see why Shaq doesn't have a statue in Orlando. I understand that. He went to a championship with them, but he wasn't the brand. You know how weird it was to see Patrick Ewing on the Magic and the Supersonics? The same way it was weird to see Iverson on Detroit or Denver.
Yeah.
That's how tied into the brand Patrick Ewing was. It's just awful. That's how bad this slander was, bro. From the late 90s to the early 2000s till now. That, yeah, people say they love Patrick Ewing. You can't. And it just so happens that they didn't let him into MSG a week after our conversation. A week after I tried to plead with you guys. Are you insane? Clyde Frazier, you're part of the problem if you're on the air talking about Patrick Ewing is second to you. No, he's not. Clyde Frazier could have never done that shit in the 80s and the 90s. What the hell is Clyde Frazier talking about?
Hey man, he won 2 rings. He beat Joe Louis.
Are we doing that? Are we gonna react to Coming to America? I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, we can get into Coming to America, but yeah, Patrick Ewing was the man, definitely.
Deserves his props, bro.
Yeah. Nah, you gotta give him his props, man. Listen, like I said it on the last joint we had, that 90s team and the 99, that run, it was it was the lockout season, 52 games. Sprewell was really the catalyst for that team. Him and Allen Houston. You know, Pat was dealing with his injuries. But yeah, man, like New York basketball was Patrick Ewing was New York basketball in the 90s, man. But yeah, man, shouts to Patrick Ewing, man. Yeah, it was disrespectful how they treat. Look what they did to Oakley. I mean, like, come on, man. If they did it to Oakley, I mean, damn. Patrick Ewing, like, that shit upset. That did. Like, it's just certain things. Like, all right, it's just certain things that just rub you. I don't know Patrick Ewing personally, but you know, you're a fan of sports, or you're a fan of thing. You have an emotional attachment to something, and you know, it's a part of your DNA. You're part of your childhood growing up. You're gonna feel away when someone like Patrick Ewing is disrespected by the building that he damn near built or helped build, the brand that he helped build. So yeah, it was like someone smacked your brother or smacked you, disrespected you. Like, yeah, man, that's your boy James Dolan though. And that's been the Knicks been, unfortunately, the last several years. So, but
because remember these players. I'm not saying they're thinking about 20, 30 years from now. I'm not saying that. But at the end of the day, it's just basketball, bro. Brand the game right. Like if you do that and have Patrick Ewing in there, and then you never even know the kind of connections you have. They probably, it's just a sense of arrogance. Like even with Oakley, you can't send somebody to go talk to Oakley. Oakley's he seems like a tough dude at the end of the day. Like a man's man. He's been through a lot. But branding wise, we're talking about business. That's good business to have Patrick Ewing and Oakley on the sideline. The fans go crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's the part of that again. That's the part that made me take down the jersey, but it's back up. It's back up. And the Ewing one will come up next. The Ewing one is guy. I'm sorry I don't have a Ewing one.
I don't want to hear that. Porzingis. He doesn't deserve to be hung up, bro. I'm sorry. Why is he there? Like, why is he next to Einstein? Why is he there, bro?
Because he should have been the Einstein of the Knicks.
Nah, man. I don't know about that one. At least have you could have had Spreewell. You could have had Allen Houston, Oakley, even Starks. Not Porzingis. Stop it.
That's all I wanted to say, man. We moving on. Yo, say it again. Say it again.
On, man. I'm sorry. That's the unicorn.
Yo, he was.
Fuck out of here.
He was. Yo, respect. All due respect to the bad man himself.
Hey, get it right.
The Jamaican sensation, baby.
Peace and blessings.
He had New York in a frenzy. My mom said she heard about that at Shea Stadium, and they went crazy. They announced it, the #1 pick, and she was at Shea Stadium during the game, and they went crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
when
they did the code. That's when they did the code info.
Yo, salute, Big Pat. I got your back. And that beat